Good morning, this is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess, bringing you day 8 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation, and this would be January 8th if you are starting at the new year. Separation and the Atonement, the origin of separation. To extend is a fundamental aspect of God which she gave to her child. In the creation, she extended herself to her creations and imbued them with the same loving will to create. You have not only been fully created, but have also been created perfect. There is no emptiness in you. Because of your likeness to your Creator, you are creative. No child of God can lose this ability because it is inherent in what she is, but she can use it inappropriately by projecting. The inappropriate use of extension or projection occurs when you believe that some emptiness or lack exists in you and that you can fill it with your own ideas instead of truth. This process involves the following steps. First, you believe that what God created can be changed by your own mind. Second, you believe that what is perfect can be rendered imperfect or lacking. Third, you believe that you can distort the creations of God, including yourself. Fourth, you believe that you can create yourself and that the direction of your own creation is up to you. These related distortions represent a picture of what actually occurred in the separation, or the detour into fear. None of this existed before the separation, nor does it actually exist now. Everything God created is like her. Extension, as undertaken by God, is similar to the inner radiance that the children of the mother inherit from her. Its real source is internal. This is as true of the child as of the mother. In this sense, the creation includes both the creation of the child by God and the child's creations when her mind is healed. This requires God's endowment of the child with free will, because all loving creation is freely given in one continuous line in which all aspects are of the same order. In the Garden of Eden, or the pre-separation condition, was a state of mind in which nothing was needed. When Eve listened to the lies of the serpent, all she heard was untruth. You do not have to continue to believe what is not true unless you choose to do so. All that can literally disappear in the twinkling of an eye, because it is merely a misperception. What is seen in dreams seems to be very real, yet the Bible says that a deep sleep fell upon Eve, and nowhere is there a reference to her waking up. The world has not yet experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as you continue to project or miscreate. It still remains within you, however, to extend as God extended her spirit to you. In reality, this is your only choice, because your free will was given you for your joy in creating the perfect. All fear is ultimately reducible to the basic misperception that you have the ability to usurp the power of God. Of course, you neither can nor have been able to do this. Here is the real basis for your escape from fear. The escape is brought about by your acceptance of the atonement, which enables you to realize that your errors never really occurred. Only after the deep sleep fell upon Eve could she experience nightmares. If a light is suddenly turned on while someone is dreaming a fearful dream, she may initially interpret the light itself as part of her dream and be afraid of it. However, when she awakens, the light is correctly perceived as the release from the dream, which is then no longer accorded reality. This release does not depend on illusions. The knowledge that illuminates not only sets you free, but also shows you clearly that you are free. Whatever lies you may believe are of no concern to the miracle, which can heal any of them with equal ease. It makes no distinctions among misperceptions. Its sole concern is to distinguish between truth on the one hand and error on the other. Some miracles may seem to be of greater magnitude than others. But remember the first principle in this course. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. In reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. These can be from yourself and others, from yourself to others, or from others to you. Peace is an attribute in you. You cannot find it outside. Illness is some form of external searching. Health is inner peace. It enables you to remain unshaken by lack of love from without, and capable, through your acceptance of miracles, of correcting the conditions proceeding from lack of love in others. And that is the text for today. I am reminded of Yoda teaching Luke that there is no order of difficulty in miracles. In The Empire Strikes Back, anyway, there was a seemingly challenging task of lifting the very, very heavy spaceship out of the swamp it was sinking into. And even though Luke had accomplished other miracles through the Force, Luke believed that this was too big, too heavy. And even though he begins to have success, in the end, he says, I can't do it, it's too hard. And then he watches in disbelief as Yoda lifts the spaceship right out of the swamp and sets it on dry, solid ground. And he's like, how did you do that? That's impossible. And Yoda says, that is why you fail. Anyway, that seemed pertinent to today's reading today. Okay, Lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past. No one really sees anything. She sees only her thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is the cause of the misperception about time from which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It, therefore, cannot understand time, and cannot, in fact, understand anything. The only wholly true thought one can hold about the past is that it is not here. To think about it at all is therefore to think about illusions. Very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or in anticipating the future. The mind is actually blank when it does this, because it is not really thinking about anything. The purpose of the exercises for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has has been merely blank rather than believing that it is filled with real ideas is the first step to opening the way to vision. The exercises for today should be done with eyes closed. This is because you actually cannot see anything, and it is easier to recognize that no matter how vividly you may picture a thought, you are not seeing anything. With as little investment as possible, search your mind for the usual minute or so, merely noting the thoughts you find there, naming each one by the central figure or theme it contains, and pass on to the next. Introduce the practice period by saying, "I seem to be thinking about blank." Then name each of your thoughts specifically. For example, I seem to be thinking about name of a person, about name of an object, about name of an emotion, and so on, concluding at the end of the mind-searching period with, "But my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts." This can be done 4 or 5 times during the day unless you find it irritates you. If you find it trying, 3 or 4 times is sufficient. You might find it helpful, however, to include your irritation or any other emotion that the idea for today may induce in the mind searching itself. I want to pause here and share that I personally experience a condition called aphantasia, where I do not have an inner eye. I do not picture things visually when I close my eyes. I seem to be incapable of it at this time. Therefore, it is a little distressing for me to be told that everything my eyes seem to see is basically a lie, an illusion, because when I close my eyes, I don't see anything, and I don't like the idea of not seeing anything. But I receive the teachings of A Course in Miracles for what they are, taking them on faith because of how much I have seen it impact my life already. I also wanted to share the thought that it says that the most accurate thought you can have about the past is that it is not here. I like to include that the most accurate thought we can have about the future is that it is also not here. It doesn't exist because, well, I don't know about you, but I often find my thoughts preoccupied with the future. And there is comfort in reminding myself that the future is completely unwritten. It doesn't exist. And its creation is completely based upon the present moment, which I have complete control over. I have choice to fill it with only loving thoughts, which is something that A Course in Miracles is training me to do, and is something I recognize I can only do when I rely on help from the divine. All right, thank you for bearing with me as I pontificate. That'll conclude our reading and lesson for the day, and I wish you happy practicing, dear souls. Until next time.